Welcome to Forbidden History, the podcast-style channel where we explore the darkest corners of history and mythology. Everything we share is carefully researched and fact-checked, so you get the real history. If you enjoy learning about the shocking, strange, and forgotten parts of the past, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and join the discussion in the comments. It began with goats. In the mid-1990s, farmers across Puerto Rico started finding their animals dead in the morning, bodies intact but drained of blood. There were no signs of normal predators, no torn flesh, no scattered remains. Instead, there were puncture marks, small, round, often 3 in a row, on the necks or chests of the livestock. As the killing spread, rumors grew of a mysterious creature prowling the night. People called it El Chupacabras, the goat sucker. Within months, stories of the Chupacabra crossed the ocean to Mexico, the southern United States, and beyond, turning into one of the most famous monster legends of the modern age. But was it really a vampire beast? An alien? A secret government experiment? Or something else entirely? The first widely reported sightings date to 1995 in Canóvanas, Puerto Rico. Dozens of animals were found dead. Goats, sheep, chickens, with their blood seemingly drained. Eyewitnesses described a strange creature unlike anything they had ever seen. Some said it was reptilian, standing about 3 to 4 feet tall, with leathery gray-green skin, spines running down its back, and large red eyes. Others claimed it hopped like a kangaroo or glided silently like a bat. Panic spread. Farmers armed themselves. Vigilante groups patrolled the countryside at night, hoping to catch or kill the creature. Police and government officials tried to calm the population, but no clear culprit emerged. The legend grew even stranger as reports multiplied. In some cases, the Chupacabra was said to emit a foul, sulfuric smell. In others, it was described as having wings, long fangs, or alien-like claws. Livestock deaths with similar marks began to be reported in Mexico, Chile, Brazil, and even the southern United States. News programs and talk shows sensationalized the story, showing artists' renderings of spiny-backed monsters with glowing eyes. For a time, the Chupacabra became a household name, the Latin American answer to Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. But then the description started to change. By the early 2000s, Chupacabra sightings in Texas and the Southwest depicted a very different animal. Hairless, dog-like creatures with bluish, scabbed skin. Farmers and hunters shot several of these animals and sent the carcasses for testing. DNA analysis revealed they were coyotes or dog-coyote hybrids suffering from severe mange, which causes hair loss and deformed skin. Scientists argued that these sick canids explained the modern Chupacabra sightings. Yet this didn't account for the original Puerto Rican reports of a spiny reptilian beast, nor the odd puncture marks and supposedly bloodless carcasses. This is where the legend of the Chupacabra takes its forbidden turn. Some researchers and journalists began to notice that Puerto Rico in the 1990s was home to several U.S. military and scientific installations. In particular, the island housed facilities tied to the U.S. Department of Agriculture and, according to conspiracy theories, secret bioweapons research. Theories spread that the Chupacabra was an escaped experiment, perhaps a genetically modified predator, a test subject infected with exotic diseases, or even an alien organism being studied in clandestine labs. These stories fed into a growing distrust of government secrecy after the Cold War and the revelations of real unethical experiments like MK Ultra or the Tuskegee study. Supporters of the experiment gone wrong theory point to the creature's alleged surgical precision in draining blood, which seemed more like laboratory behavior than random predation. Others connect the Chupacabra to UFO sightings reported around the same time in Puerto Rico. In some accounts, strange lights in the sky preceded livestock killings. Witnesses described creatures with glowing eyes emerging from the woods, vanishing as if into thin air. This overlap of alien and cryptid imagery transformed the Chupacabra from a simple vampire beast into something potentially extraterrestrial. Of course, skeptics have offered more mundane explanations. The bloodless carcasses could simply be animals killed by predators, with blood pooling internally or leaking out unseen. Puncture marks might be from claws or teeth, not some vampiric tube. The reptilian monster descriptions could have been influenced by pop culture. In fact, some folklorists note that the first reports of a spiny-backed creature came shortly after the release of the science fiction film Species, whose alien villain bore a striking resemblance to the early Chupacabra drawings. Mass hysteria, fueled by fear and sensational media coverage, may have amplified ordinary events into a supernatural panic. Yet the Chupacabra legend refuses to die. Even after scientists debunked many modern cases as mangy coyotes, people still report strange nocturnal predators and unexplained livestock deaths. The original Puerto Rican sightings remain a mystery. No carcass was ever recovered of the reptilian spiny beast. For believers, this means the real Chupacabra is still out there, elusive, perhaps nocturnal, perhaps intelligent enough to evade capture. For conspiracy theorists, it's proof of a cover-up. Evidence destroyed, experiments relocated, witnesses silenced. What makes the Chupacabra so compelling is how it sits at the crossroads of myth, science, and paranoia. Like the vampire legends of old Europe, it embodies fears of unseen nocturnal predators and blood loss. Like Bigfoot or Nessie, it gives people a monster to hunt, a mystery to solve. And like UFO stories, it taps into modern anxieties about government secrecy and alien life. It's no accident that the legend exploded in the 1990s, an era of X-Files, Roswell anniversaries, and growing public distrust of official narratives. The Chupacabra was the perfect monster for its time. Today, you can find Chupacabra merchandise, cartoons, and jokes, but in rural areas, the fear is still real. Farmers still occasionally report animals killed under strange circumstances. Some describe new forms of the creature: winged, humanoid, or shadowy. In Texas and Mexico, people continue to photograph and film odd hairless animals and call them chupacabras. Whether these are simply sick wildlife or something unknown, the name persists as a shorthand for the unexplained. Perhaps that is the real power of the Chupacabra story. It's not just about goats or blood. It's about how communities respond to the unknown, with fear, speculation, and storytelling. In Puerto Rico, the Chupacabra became a folk monster, a warning, and a rallying point. In the United States, it turned into a meme of cryptozoology and conspiracy. Across cultures, it reflects our enduring fascination with predators, secrecy, and the possibility that we are not in control of our world. Was the Chupacabra a vampire beast, an alien creature, a government experiment, or simply a reflection of our own fears? We may never know. But like all great legends, it endures because it feeds on something deeper than goats: our hunger for mystery, our suspicion of the powerful, and our primal fear of the dark. Somewhere between the truth and the myth lurks the Chupacabra, waiting, watching, and keeping its secrets.